I used to think somebody would stay, somebody would notice the pain. I used to wait for a helping hand, but silence was all that came. The room got colder every night. The shadows knew my name, and every time I called for help, the world just looked away. Everybody says they're here for you until the storm begins. Everybody loves the sunshine, but disappears when darkness wins. I gave my heart to everyone, trying hard to belong, but every bridge I built with trust somehow didn't last too long. I carried burdens on my back that nobody could see, smiling through the broken pieces, pretending I was free. And every scar I tried to hide was screaming underneath, but nobody could hear the sound of a soul that couldn't breathe. So I kept running, kept pretending, kept believing they'd understand. But every promise, every "I've got you" turned to footprints in the sand. Nobody really cares when you're crying all alone. Nobody really sees the battles that you've known. They only hear the laughter, they only love the light. But when you're fighting demons, you're alone most every night. Nobody really cares, at least that's how it feels, when your heart is breaking and nobody knows it's real. So I learned to stand when nobody was there. Yeah, I learned to survive when nobody really cared. I remember all the sleepless nights, staring at the ceiling fan, wondering if tomorrow would finally understand the weight upon my shoulders, the pressure in my chest, trying to be strong enough when I just needed rest. People come with empty words like bandages on wounds, but some cuts go deeper than anyone assumes. And every tear that hit the floor felt like another goodbye, another piece of hope erased, another reason why I was breaking, slowly fading, watching colors turn to gray. Still I showed up, still I smiled, even when I lost my way. Nobody really cares when you're crying all alone. Nobody really sees the battles that you've known. They only hear the laughter, they only love the light. But when you're fighting demons, you're alone most every night. Nobody really cares, at least that's how it feels, when your heart is breaking and nobody knows it's real. So I learned to stand when nobody was there. Yeah, I learned to survive when nobody really cared. The hardest lesson life can teach is not every hand will stay, not every person cheering loud will still be there one day. Some people love the victory but never fight the war. They celebrate the finish line but leave it for the start. And maybe that's just how it goes. People drift away. Maybe everybody's fighting battles they don't know how to say. Maybe we're all searching for somebody to understand, while learning how to hold ourselves when nobody else can. And maybe I was looking for answers in the crowd, when the voice I needed most was buried underneath the doubt. Maybe all those lonely nights were teaching me to grow, teaching me the strength inside. person standing in the dark, holding on to fading dreams, protecting a fragile heart. I wish I could tell that version you'll make it through somehow. The pain won't last forever. You're stronger than it now. Every crack became a lesson, every scar became a guide. Every time the world walked away, you found yourself inside. And all those empty moments that felt like endless years,